Always. All right. Let's get it hooked up. Who's up? Who's water bottle? It's on the floor. Anybody? It's here. It's right now. All right, let's jump back into these three ideas and get some time to just kind of play with them a little bit today. Nothing you'll have to submit online today. But I do want to give you a chance to practice this stuff before we get too serious with doing these things for real. You gotta pick up where you left off yesterday. I think it'll be good.
Trump is running. You're sleeping in your truck. You're sleeping?
Let's get connected.
What's up, Joe? Sleeping. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I was debating it. I was like, you know,
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Good. I'm gonna erase some stuff. I'm gonna leave this one up. We'll come back to these. And so really just to focus on that fourth.
Genius idea.
I might bring it to my next class.
All right, so if you haven't yet, get yourself back into wherever you want to write stuff down. Again, nothing you have to submit for me today. I just want to kind of like work through these ideas, really focusing a lot on this one to start. And then just a little bit of practice the last two, and then we'll be good. So kind of an easier wrap-up day today. We might end a little bit early. I want to let you kind of get some practice more tomorrow. Do a little stuff on Friday, and that'll probably be it for this section. Then we can start doing some stuff that actually counts a little bit more. So let me recap a little bit of what's up there. Now, those aren't exactly the same problems that we did yesterday. I think the top stuff is with the x to the third over x to the fifth, but everything else I just kind of made up on the spot during seventh. So the thing that you want to remember is that I know I kind of lump them together into one idea, but it's really like they're going to be presented two different ways. Either like as fractions or with negative exponents. Okay. Eventually you'll see both at the same time. But I want to deal with them separately first. Okay. And so the key is if you just have fractions, you don't have any negative exponents, you just ask yourself those two questions. Where do I have more and how many more? Wherever you have more, that's where the base goes. However many more you have, there's the exponent, and you're done. And that like the A or the B or the X or the Y or whatever we're trying to simplify, it's just done at that point, which is really nice. And if you have a coefficient, just kind of leave that where it was. The only thing being raised to certain exponents are just the base, right? Not the numbers sitting out. Okay, so let's try one. Let's go. It's just an example, so you don't have to worry about making this all fancy and writing it up nice. But write it down with me. We'll do a few examples. I guess let's say that. It's called number one today. And let's start simple. A to the fourth over a to the ninth. And again, there's no equal sign here. I'm not solving for anything. It's not going to be A equals something when I'm done. We just want to make it as simple as we can, right? One A left over with one exponent. The question just remains like, where's that A going to go? And all you have to do is ask yourself, where do I have more? Top or bottom? Not bottom. And usually what I'll do is I'll give myself a space to work first if I don't know what I'm looking for. But good. I got more A's on the bottom, so down it goes. How many more? There's your exponent. what do we put up top? 4. So, one base, one exponent. Yeah, it's a fraction. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. And it's a heck of a lot better than saying a to the negative 50, for sure. All right, cool. Sticking with the simple, but switching it up a little bit. 3x to the 4th over x to the, I don't want to do 9 again. Let's do 2. X's with X's. The 3 is just a 3, right? It's just being multiplied through. I'm only going to be putting things together that go together. X with X's, Y with Y's, A's with A's, whatever I've got. Those are going to go together. So let's worry about the X's. Where do you have more? Okay, so that's where it's going to end up. How many more? What goes up top? The coefficient that's left behind. Right, because that 3 didn't really play a role in me messing with the exponents. These are properties of exponents. The 3 is not an exponent, it's just a number, right? It's just a coefficient. Done. All right, let's get a little crazy. A squared, b to the 7th, c to the 4th, on top. All on top, all being multiplied together. You can put the dots in between if that helps. Like if this is going to help you remember how things are connected, put those multiplication dots in between. But you don't need them. It's cool without. And on the bottom, a to the 6th, b, c to the 4th. Question? Yeah. A squared, 7, so 2, 7, 4, and then 6. Yeah, for that. Yep, a to the 6th. All right. What should we look at first? A's. Let's just go in alphabetical order. Okay. We have fractions. So, where do I have more? Top or bottom? How many more? There you go. A to the 4th goes on bottom. Okay, B's next. Where do you have more B's? Top or bottom? Oh, okay. So we're going to have a B on top. How many more do you have? 6 of them, right? Because 7 on top and there's 1 of them on the bottom. It'll be this. Okay, and so you get in this autopilot mode. Okay, cool. I kind of get this thing now. All right, now ask yourself the question: where do you have more C's, top or bottom? You don't, right? You have 4 on top. You got 4 on bottom. And really, what you want to kind of be doing in your mind is this: covering up everything else and just worrying about that. What's anything divided by itself? The C's cancel each other out. You don't have any left. Okay? And it's only going to happen if you have the exact same number of them top. So you might start with A's, B's, and C's, but you do not have to end with A's, B's, and C's if you have the exact same number of them both top. Cool? All right, so one more. Yikes. A, B squared, C to the 3rd, e to the 7th, e to the 4th, f to the 10th, g to the 7th. Over a to the 3rd, b, c to the 9th, d to the 7th, e, f to the 13th, g to the 9th. Try it. See if you can do it. A's with A's, B's with B's, C's with C's, that's it. Okay, go one letter at a time and put it in alphabetical order for you. Go. All right, let's go one letter at a time. Somebody who feels good about the A. Tell me where it goes and what the exponent should be. Throw your hand up. Kevin. Okay. Good. Nice. A's are done. Okay, what about B? Somebody else. B. Okay. Just a B, right? Because it's a 1. Good. 2 and 1. C. New blood. Ethan. Okay. 6. Nice. Good. D. Yeah, some. Go on, right? Same thing. Do this if that helps, right? If you see the same thing top and bottom, go ahead and put a line through it if you want, right? Because they just kind of cancel each other out because they're dividing to 1. Nice. Okay, what about E? TJ. Okay. Nice. F. F. Okay. What's the exponent? Good. And how about G? Johnny. There it is. You imagine 3 days ago if I gave you this problem to go ahead and simplify it? No chance. No shot. Now look what you just did. Awesome. Awesome. Good. That's that first part. I'm good with that. Feeling pretty good? Got the good ideas? Okay, good. Now let's deal with the negative exponents because these can be trickier. This is going to throw us off a little bit because of we have some things that we have to do. Like I got to move it around, right? If we have negative exponents, let me get the camera pointed back at the notes you have homework too. Right? If we've got negative exponents, I mean, it came from this. It came from kind of that setup. But if it starts with the negative exponent, I'm not going to rewrite it like as two different x's. I only have one. I want to kind of stick with that and make it as easy for me as possible. If you have a negative exponent, I don't know if this is exactly how I wrote it yesterday, but it's a clue that that is in the wrong spot. If it was up top, it's supposed to be on the bottom. If it was on bottom, we got to move it up to the top. And when we make that move, that negative exponent becomes positive. Okay, now that's a few things that we have to remember for sure. Okay. So I wanted to try to see if we can work through a few of them together, just to kind of get you into the process. I feel like this first whole fraction thing, I feel like that's good now, right? Where do I have more? How many more? Let's wrap our heads around this one. What's up, down? All right. Negative. Let's call this one number 5 for today. We did 1 through 4. Raise you guys up a little bit. All right. Okay. X to the negative first. To the negative 1. Now, is that in a fraction yet? Then it's about to be. Okay, negative exponents, my clue that if I don't have a fraction to start, I'm going to have one at the end. Because things have to flip upside down. I got to make some moves. And if there's no bottom yet because there's no fraction, well, that's where this thing has to go. And that's what I want to do, is I want to get to the point where it doesn't have a negative exponent anymore. So that x, I mean, you can kind of think of it like this if it helps, right? It's all over 1, right? But if not, that's okay. We're going to move it from the top to the bottom. And when we do that, what happens to the exponent? Now it's positive. So it goes from negative 1 to being positive 1. Sweet. Do I need to write that? Okay. But I do need something up top. Okay. Now, what is that 1? It's that one. Okay, it's that coefficient that was sitting in front that whole time. So yeah, there's a positive 1 right here for sure. We don't need that one, but you can write it if you want. Done. There it is. X to the negative first is one of them. X to the negative. Is there a fraction there right now? Then there's going to be. Make the switch. Okay. When you get to that point, right? You're like, I got negative exponents. I know I got to make a switch. I got to move some stuff around. You move it from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. This one's already kind of on top, right? There's a fraction here if you want to see that. So let's make the switch, move it down to the bottom. What's the exponent now? Positive 5. Beautiful. What's left up top? This number right there. Good. That's it. All right, one more like that. Then we'll put these two ideas together. Maybe a couple more. Hold on. I got to do this first. 1 over a to the negative. Negative exponent, no good. Got to switch that up. But look where the a is. Look where that base is. It's already on the bottom. Well, if it's already on the bottom, where's it got to move? Now, the only thing that's up top right now is the 1. So we're good. That's cool. And so what's really happening is, okay, like this 1 right here is going to stay behind because that wasn't being raised to a negative power. This one that was on top is still there, but that a is going to make the switch, go up to the top, and now, instead of being -3, now it's positive. So everything kind of stays where it was unless it had the negative. So if you have a positive exponent, keep it there. It's good. If you have a negative exponent, that's when you'll make the switch. But can we write that even nicer than that? Let's do it. What is that? Even over 1 I don't even need, right? Because dividing by 1 doesn't change anything. So let's just call it a to the third. We always want to try, if we can, avoid writing fractions if we don't. All right, check this out. 2 over 3, switch up the letters, b to the negative. This is the last one that kind of exists on its own. 2 over 3 times b to the negative 4. Is the 2 being raised to a negative power? So that's not going to move. It's going to stay on top. What about the 3 on the bottom? That 3 that's sitting out front, is that being raised to a negative power? No. When we talk about exponents, it's just right what's underneath. And so that 2 can't move. Sorry, I'm not kind of right on top of each other. That 2 can't move, and that 3 is not going to move. Only things that have negative exponents are going to make that switch. B was on bottom, so let's make the switch. Put it up top, positive exponent. Okay. Because now what they're going to try to do is put these ideas together. Here's where things really start to kind of take a turn for us. Where they give us a fraction that's got like a bunch of different letters in it. But some of those exponents are positive and some of them are negative. I don't know, let's make it up. X to the third, y to the fourth, z to the negative second, over x, y to the seventh, z to the fourth. Now, if this problem just looked like 1, 2, 3, and 4 from before, then where do I have more? How many more? And done. But with that negative exponent in there, I can't do that yet, really. I mean, I could, but I don't want to have to think about negatives and positives. If I have negative exponents, that is the first thing I'm going to take care of every single time. Now, the only thing being raised to that negative, though, is that z, which means that's the only thing that moves. Okay? When you're dealing with this stuff, okay, first, take care of your negative exponents. Move them. Make the switch. Don't put things together yet. Don't do A's with A's and B's with B's and X's with X. No. Give yourself a second to say, all right, hold on. Let me get rid of negative exponents so I can put stuff together. So x to the third up top is good. There's no negative there. Y to the fourth is good. I'll even kind of stick with alphabetical order. My x's are good. My y's are good. This z, though, it's got to move. That one that was up top, that one's coming down to the bottom. And when it makes that switch, and you see, like, I don't have like 1 over because there's so much else going on. The only time I really need like the 1 over or the 2/3 if we just have those numbers sitting out there. But there's no numbers here. We're just looking at exponents. But what about that z to the fourth that was already on the bottom? Should that move up to the top? Does that z that's already on the bottom have a negative exponent? Then it's good. Which means that these z's actually end up next to each other on the bottom. Now we can put some stuff together. X's with X's, Y's with Y's, Z's with Z's. And consider them kind of separately. Like in my mind, I don't even see these anymore. All that's all gone. All I see is x cubed up top and x on bottom. Oh, all right, I got some stuff on top, I got some stuff on bottom. All right, I got a fraction. If I'm dealing with the fraction, where do I have more and how many more? So where do we have more x's, top or bottom? Top, how many? 2. X's are done. If I take that mindset where I don't think about everything all at once, I just go one letter at a time, it's going to get a whole lot easier for you. All right, y's next, right? Alphabetical order, so stick with that. So 4 of them on top, 7 of them on bottom. All right, cool. I got more on bottom. How many more I got? Why does the third go on bottom? But if I shut out everything else and I just look at the z's, do you have like some on top and some on bottom? Where are they all? Then they better stay there. Okay? Your z's can't just magically jump back up to the top if they were all on the bottom once we got them to be positive. But look at them. They're right next to each other. So how are they connected right there? What's our shortcut for multiplication? What do we do with the exponents? Now, that would have worked fine if you had said, all right, I got negative 2 z's on top and 4 on the bottom. How many more do I have? Well, from negative 2 to 4, that's a distance of 6. You got to count boxes, count along the number line. It really is 6. I got 6 more on the bottom. By making that switch, you can just put them together. I think it's a little easier. Good? All right. All right, let me give you a chance to try some out. If you're good with these, let me just give you a couple, and then we'll wrap stuff up. The thing that you want to remember is you want to take care of those negative exponents first, and then simplify one variable at a time. Okay? If it's fractions, cool. If it's multiplication, great. If it's exponents raised to higher exponents, whatever the rule is, I just follow that and I keep it wherever it goes. All right, cool. Let's do it. Something to try for you to make sure you're feeling pretty good. Because by the end of this week, we'll be done. Seriously, we're going to be done with all of this. We'll take our time kind of getting some stuff done. Maybe a quiz or two, one for effort and completion, one for correctness. And then we'll roll on. All right, so that was 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we on 10 now?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. A to the negative 6. 1 over B to the negative 2nd. We'll challenge for you. 3x to the negative 1. Where should we go? 5x to the 3rd, y to the negative. That's a good one. So, sure. And then a couple big ones. X squared, y to the negative 3rd, x to the negative 5th, y. And one more good one. There we go. 5 good ones for you. 6 good ones for you. Sorry. Take your time. Work through them. We'll talk them out. We'll see where that gets us. 1:15, I think we're out of here. Sure, like 15 minutes. Again, this is just for you to practice, something you got to submit, but you got to try this stuff out, and man, this is going to make it so much easier for you at the end of this week or maybe beginning of next week. When we start doing this stuff for real, and you have something to look back at. And talk to each other. Talk to me. This does not have to be you on your own. If you get stuck and you need some help, just shout. Same at home for sure. If you guys can't read that, let me know. Yeah, thanks. So what's being raised to the negative x? So that's the only thing that's going to move. And so if that's the case, like I think about, and maybe this helps, if that has to move like within a fraction, then maybe like envision the fraction version from the beginning. Because now you can say, all right, that x cannot stay up top. It's got to come down to the bottom. And once it does, what happens to the exponent? Okay. What about the 3 then? What do we do with it? Yeah. So using fractions from the beginning, always a good idea if you're feeling like you don't know where stuff's supposed to go. Yeah. That's it. Good. Yep, you got it. Dark colors. I don't know if that comes up all that well. So that first one folks on a to the -6. These A's are good and exactly where they are. You can cover up the email. That's what I want to see. That fraction. Maybe you have more to talk about how many more. These are good because that B's going to slide up. It's going to be in the third, square in the third. 5 total. Let's see. That negative and that negative. Both going to switch spots. What's going to happen is that C to the negative second is going to go up top, squared. C to the negative fifth is on the bottom, go C to the fifth. And so now you have C squared plus U on top, C to the fifth on the bottom. So I think it might be helpful for the ones that have those negative exponents. Like you're doing it well most of the time, like you're making the switch and putting them all in the right spots. But maybe for the ones that are both negative, like take the time to like rewrite it without negative exponents. Take care of those negatives, like make the fraction look nicer. Then that'll make you avoid those mistakes. I know, I'm making you work today. That's good. I like it. That's done. All right, another moment or two if you're still finishing up. Then we'll talk through.
I'm brain dead.
This stuff doesn't get any more interesting, it just gets harder. It only gets harder, it doesn't get better.
Yeah,
I know.
I got Alright.
Well, negative. And what stays up there? What stays? Literally, you're just flipping the whole thing. So you're bringing the B up, bringing the B up top, and it becomes B. And we'll click this positive. There you go. So you have a -2 on top. But what stays on the bottom also? 1. Yeah. And then you also have 1 on top too. That's it.
Really?
Yep.
I thought
We'll just make it look nice. Yeah, but that's perfect. Like that right there is correct. We can write it simpler, and that's what we will do. But that looks good. Yeah, that would be the step that I would write.
Okay.
Keep stuff where it's supposed to be, move the stuff that needs to move, and then see what you got. And kind of like reassess now.
I had to write it like that so I could do it in my head.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good idea, like writing stuff out and kind of making it look like this if you need to, and then saying, oh, 1 times b squared is b squared. Divided by 1 doesn't change anything, that's just b squared. Right, 10, easy one, 1 over 8 to the 6, just drop it down, make a switch.
Yeah, I even wrote it like that on my head.
And that's good, I like that in between stuff. Take whatever steps you need to get it right. Gentlemen, you guys want to join us? Jackson, want to take a seat, buddy? Thanks, man. So with 10, 11, and 12, the only thing that was weird about 12 is that having that 3 there, we just want to make sure that whatever's supposed to stay up top stays up top, whatever's supposed to move. If it's got a positive exponent, which is like, this is like 3 to the first, I guess you could call it, right? No negative exponents there, so I'm good, I'm just going to drop that x down. So what's the deal with 13 then? What's the only thing in 13 that's actually going, and maybe this helps, that's going to move? The y, right? So what do we have up top still?
5x.
5x is there. And then now on bottom? Coefficient? Single variable for each? All positive exponents? Done. Now, the moment, like, when we get to something like 13 and 14 and 15, they've got more than one variable, just go one at a time. Move anything that's got to move, keep everything that's got to stay. So x is first. Is this x squared good up top? Keep it there. Is this x to the -5 good on bottom? Make them move. Because once you do them in alphabetical order, now at least they're next to each other. Okay, and I'm just going to go top to bottom again. Is this y good? Okay, drop it down. Make the switch. What about this one? Is that one good? Now let's put them together. Now what happens here, like when I put the x's together, it's not like one on top and one on bottom. They're just next to each other. Yeah, they're in the fraction, but they're just right next to each other. So put them together, what's the new exponent? Add them up, right? We're just multiplying. 2 plus 5 is 7. So now on the bottom, y to the third, right?
No, 4.
The 1 right there, don't forget it. There you go. Let's finish it up. You see, I'm even going to set this up now. I know I've got 2 things I got to do. I got to move all my negatives around first. What's up there? You're early. Yeah, 120.
Forgot today's Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. There you go. A's first. Are they good where they are? I'm just going to take a second and rewrite. I know I didn't make any progress there, but at least I'm going to end up with things that I like. Okay, what about the B's? Is this B good? What about this one?
No.
Where's it supposed to go?
No.
And what's the new exponent? 3 first. Then we'll put them together. Yeah. Is this C good?
No.
Okay, so that drops down to the bottom. What about this one?
No, I guess so.
That one's no good either. I gotta put that on top. Now, if that kind of bugs you that they're not lined up on top of each other, fine. Move stuff over. Write it bigger. I don't care. Like, make it look however you want. Put the dots in between if you feel like they're too far apart. Okay, what about these? Are they good where they are right now?
Yes.
All right, so I know I'm not making any progress there. I'm just gonna write it down. Now, the more you do this, the more that step is not necessary. But it's always helpful because now, A's with A's. For everything else. Oh, one on top, one on bottom. Where do I have more? How many more? These only right next to each other. So I'm just going to put them together by adding it. C's. One on top, one on bottom. Where do we have more? How many more? What about these? See ya.
Cancel each other out.
Same thing, top and bottom. They not need nearly as much space. Good. Right? You worn out yet? More. Give me more.
This is like kind of.
It's nice because it's short. Like we're not solving systems of equations that take a page and a half to do a whole problem, right? We did 15 problems in like a page. That's the kind of thing that I like about this. 1 or 2 steps max. I'm good right there. That's enough work for today. I appreciate you guys. Take these last couple minutes, hang out. Folks at home, you guys are good to go unless you have any questions. Again, that's what you guys see for me. I will do.